Okay, everyone, I'm Assemblyman Mark Johns. I'm joined here with my colleagues from right to left. Tony LaFountain, who's allowed us to use this building today. He's the supervisor of Penfield. Ron Nesbitt, the supervisor of Webster. And John Cahill, the mayor of the town of Webster. And we're here to let them today talk about the big problem that we have with high water levels in Lake Ontario. Tony?
So good afternoon. Certainly the high water levels on Lake Ontario and its ripple effect into Irondequoit Bay has been and continues to be an issue for the three communities on the bay, Webster, Irondequoit, and Penfield. While Penfield has the smallest piece, that doesn't lessen the interest that our local government has flooding for the businesses, any of the residents that we have in that area. Not to mention the impact potentially if that water raises to the level that it goes over Empire Boulevard. That's a main artery that connects Webster, Penfield, and Irondequoit, used by over 22,000 cars on a daily basis. So we're working very closely to keep an eye on that, working with New York State DOT and the Sheriff's Department to make sure that we address any and all issues associated with that as we move forward. The lake level continues to be a concern for us. The weather, especially when you get the northeasterly winds, the impact for erosion and damage and other impact along the lakeshore continues to be a big concern. We're thankful that DEC has been very supportive in issuing emergency permits to help those residents or those businesses shore up their shoreline. However, it's a concern that we have, especially over the next couple of weeks, and depending upon who you listen to and what experts are speaking, we have a number more weeks and months to deal with this whole issue. So definitely a concern by all of our communities.
Ron Nesbitt, supervisor of the town of Webster. I'd just like to say that the flooding in Webster continues along Lake Road. Everybody's familiar with Mayor's Marina and Fran Beth from Marge's. Fran lost her shed the other day. It fell in into the bay, and it continues. Our highway department at this point in time has put up 35,000 sandbags. We're working Saturdays and Sundays to keep up with the people, and we will continue to do so until the waters recede. Now, we're not hit as bad as Edgemere Drive or some of the places in Irondequoit, but we are seeing destruction of our shoreline and of our assessed values. Some of the properties are underwater, and people are now coming into the Board of Assessment Review, rightfully so, to object to their assessment that's now underwater. And I understand that, and we'll allow the appropriate people to take care of that. I'd like to thank the governor. He has been in town many, many times, and he's trying very hard here to stand up to the 2014 plan. What I am a little bit upset about is the two senators, Senator Schumer, Senator Slaughter, who are missing in action. We've seen nothing from them. And I think we should see more from our federal delegates here, because this is really hurting people on Lake Road. Both of them have come to the outlet bridge on many occasions to talk about federal money for the outlet bridge, federal money for this, federal money for that. All of a sudden now, when we have a crisis down there, they're not there. There's no pictures to be taken or anything, and these two senators are, like I said, missing in action. They should be not. They should be here helping the residents along Lake Road and doing everything they can for them. Thank you.
Ron?
Yes.
You know, talked about the Congresswoman's comments earlier today, just standing by her claim that Plan 2014 doesn't have anything to do with this flooding, that it was all rain, precipitation from earlier March snow. What do you think about that?
We have snow every year, and we didn't have any more snow this year than we've had in the past, really, about the same. Problem is with 214, if they're going to put 214 into place in January, they should have lowered the lake level first. That's what their mistake was. And then the rains that we did get would have been able to, the lake would have come up, but not as much. There wasn't enough thought put into 2014, and I think both the Congresswoman and Congressmen are derelict in their duties on this thing, okay? You should be here helping us out, and you're not. You know, we're talking about, you know, I checked her Facebook before I came here, and we're talking about a portrait she's having here in, you know, in Washington. Come on. Our residents need help. Where's the federal government in this thing? How are they helping these people out? People are losing their homes. They're losing their shoreline. Their basements are flooded. Now we're going to have mold, and we're going to have all these other conditions. Where's the federal government coming in and helping on this? That's a big question. My residents want to know, and I want to know. Where are you?
What kind of help are you looking for?
Well, there should be some money out there. There's got to be some FEMA money. There's got to be some kind of money. We've heard nothing from these two people. You know, the governor's trying. He come out with a plan the other day. If you make under $100,000, you're eligible for $40,000 or something. Federal government's got to get involved in this. They're part of the problem. They got to be part of the solution.
Now, does it trouble you knowing that that's her position? You know, when you have to go and ask the federal government for some sort of help, but you already know where she stands on it.
Well, she needs to look into it a little bit more. When I did see a report today that she said she's going to have to talk to the governor about that, maybe the governor should talk to her about what his position is, which he's very, very clear about that, and I agree with him. Okay? Repeal 214.
You talked about tax assessments.
Yeah.
What are you telling homeowners that are coming in going, hey?
Well, there's a process for that, okay? That's not something, it's called the Board of Assessment Review, and they will plead their case in front of that. Do I think they have a case? Yeah, I do. I mean, if you're losing your property, you're losing your shoreline, why are we assessing something that's not there? Okay, yes, and the Board of Reviews should take and look into that, okay, for them, because why should they pay taxes on something that's not there anymore? It may never come back. Okay?
Just curious, you guys have a cost yet on how much this is kind of costing the town?
No, yeah, we're just adding up the numbers. You know, you got to look. We had the windstorm, we had the snowstorm, and now we got this. Is it going to affect the budget this year? Absolutely. Are we going to be able to stay under the 2% tax cap? Too early to tell, but it's something else that's, you know, over our heads all the time. And yet we got to provide these services, and yet we're spending more money that wasn't even in the budget. So in the long run, it comes back to taxes, and the people in the towns paying for that.
I was talking to a scientist yesterday who's also pretty adamant about the fact he believes that, you know, this would have happened either way. You seem to have people that are really pretty staunch on both sides of this issue. What do you make of that?
I understand it, but maybe they should have taken some more time to study this thing, you know, and make sure they got it right the first time, okay, instead of just throwing it out there like it is. We can make all these assumptions after the fact, but that's no good to the people that are losing their houses right now, okay? They don't care about that now. But they should have made sure that this was going to work before they did it, okay?
Yeah.
You were showing us
Yeah, I just,
the letter that you had.
Right, this letter that we sent to the governor and copied in our federal officials was sent 5 years ago. Assemblyman Joe Morelli, Democrat, Assemblyman Bill Rylick, a Republican, all of us, a nonpartisan, bipartisan letter that we sent to the governor, and we copied in the feds, and we let them know, do not go and raise this level of the lake to 248.5, 249. And the reality is, you can say this plan 2014 was the cause or it's not. Traditionally, they start draining the lake as the season goes on, August, September, October. By January, February, the lake is at a low level. If the lake this year would have been at 243 instead of somewhere near 245, if it goes up 3 or 4 feet, you're at 246, 247. High average, but it's still manageable. When it's at 249, you're doing permanent destruction. As Ron said, you're lowering the values of property. You're making it harder for Ron and Tony. They've been doing a diligent job in keeping the tax base, keeping the tax cap below 2%. Now you're inflicting a bunch of costs on them, which the Fed should be paying. And by the way, Justin Trudeau said that this is a mistake. He's the new prime minister in Canada. The governor has come out and said the IJC blew it. And what we're saying is 5 years ago, we warned them. And we said, this is what's coming. Now, I'm a co-sponsor on Joe Morelli's bill for $105 million for reparation for people that live on the waterfront. And I'm telling you, it's going to take at least that much. And this is damage that's self-inflicted. We didn't have to do this to ourselves, but we did. And the feds down in Washington deciding what should go on, this lake has been controlled for 60 years with the locks and dams up the St. Lawrence River. Now you're going to throw us a curveball and send it up to 249, it's going to be a major problem.